By virtue of the powers granted by the Privy Council, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland is this day holding a congregation for the conferment of degrees. We will also, on behalf of the Board of Governors, confer a fellowship, and on behalf of the Academic Board, confer a professorship and an honorary professorship. Firstly, I now invite our chairman, Nick Koonsberg, to address the congregation.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduands, fellows, and friends, it's one of the great privileges of the role of chairman to participate in this, the graduation ceremony. I always look on such events as one of enormous happiness, enthusiasm, and the culmination of ambition and hope and industry, very similar to a wedding. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this evening's ceremony, one in a fabulous year for the Conservatoire. Not only is it our 170th year, not only are we rated number 3 in the global QS rankings, but we have had a series of notable personal performances from our alumni, which the principal will be referring to shortly. So sit back and enjoy. And we start with the conferment of one of the Conservatoire's great honours.
Chairman, may I now invite Professor Timothy Dean to sponsor Scott Mitchell.
Chairman, fellows and governors of the Conservatoire, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Scott. Scott and I were neighbours for many years, inhabiting adjacent rooms on the second floor of the Conservatoire, just up there, where we would both receive and work with students with relentless regularity. The rooms were reasonably well soundproofed, with only the sounds of the more strident, weighty, and brilliant brass instruments cutting through to my room from his side. Scott never complained about the noise from my side, although I dare say he might well have done. We would often happen across each other in the corridor outside, usually in the morning, not a good time for me. Scott would generally inquire about my health first, in reply to which I would manage some kind of muttered, genial response, and I would often feel that I had slightly fallen short of the required energy level demanded by the sheer intensity of his initial inquiry. Rather like conductors, pianists, especially collaborative ones, tend not to work together very much, and nor did we. I regarded, and still do, his work with the very highest respect, and was flattered to think he might occasionally rate mine too. So our relationship continued, prevented by circumstance from engaging in any lengthier conversation, and I only gradually became aware that this packet of crystalline Highland energy was always dressed in clothing that was exclusively black. So let's pause briefly, ladies and gentlemen, shall we? What does that say about a man? Black, a symbol of mystery, mastery, potency, revealing everything and yet nothing at the same time. Men in Black, James Bond, the Avengers, the old ones, not the new ones, you understand. And of course, for my generation, sorry, Scott, you okay? Yeah. For my generation, arguably the most iconic man in black, some of you will remember this, is the one in the milk tray advert. Do you remember that? Dressed in black, you could argue an impractical choice in the first place, but dressed in black, he dives into shark-infested waters, risking life, limb, and confectionery, presumably, and emerges dripping wet into an empty room to deposit his chocolate box on the perfectly made bed within. I have digressed a little, and I apologise for that. Anyway, back on topic. So this, for me, was the Scott Mitchell challenge, to find the man beneath the black, where the only meaningful decision in the mornings is whether to tuck in or not. Scott's CV speaks for itself. A glittering career as a sought-after soloist, chamber musician and accompanist. Appearances at a wealth of international venues, festivals, an impressive recording catalogue, and a long list of prestigious broadcasts, and an equally long list of distinguished artists with whom he has repeatedly appeared. He is a Perth boy through and through. And I reckon if you cut him, he would probably bleed the colours of St Johnstone, whatever they are. But what of the man within? I researched. If you want the truth, ask students. I asked students and colleagues, and a picture began to slowly emerge with ever-increasing clarity. Here is a man whose musicality, professionalism, and commitment is at the heart of his work. A man whose student sessions, known as Scott slots, were cherished like gold dust and swapped like chocolate bars in the playground, where every session is a masterclass. A man who knows when to be demanding and when to put an encouraging metaphorical arm around your shoulder. A man who knows the repertoire apparently even better than some of the principal study teachers. Surely not, you may say, but apparently so. A man who is always present, no matter how busy his schedule. A man who sometimes appears to live at the conservatoire, fueled only by a regular supply of dark chocolate bars. There's that chocolate thing again, everyone. A man of honesty and integrity who, if he thinks you have fallen short of the mark, will not hesitate to tell you, sometimes several times. These are not my words, but those of his students, many of whom, thanks to him, are now occupying significant seats in major British orchestras. So, there you have the man, without whom the education and experience of many, many students would be significantly poorer. But that black thing, what's that all about? Well, there's a little story here, won't take long. 20 years ago, I reckon, Scott was just beginning to establish himself, initially for 1 day a week only, as a member of staff at the old RSAMD. One Friday, dressed in regulation jeans and T-shirt, he was minding his own business when he received an urgent request to stand in at very short notice to accompany a singing masterclass that afternoon. So far, so good. Sight reading skillfully and effectively, Scott fulfilled his musical obligations. But of course, singers, being what they were and what they still are, were dressed to kill and beyond. And Scott felt a keen sense of what you might call sartorial challenge, even inadequacy and even ill-preparedness. Scott resolved never to be caught out again, and has encased himself in black ever since. A man with a mission, a man for all seasons, a man ready for anything. Maybe that is why the lady loves milk tray. We will probably never know. But one thing is certain about the mystery that is Scott Mitchell, and that is this: the man is the music, and the music is the man. I therefore have enormous pleasure in asking the chairman to confer Fellowship of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland upon Scott Mitchell.
In the name of the Board of Governors, I confer upon you the Fellowship of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. Many congratulations. Very well deserved. Now we know.
Chairman, Principal, and graduates. I think, first of all, before I say anything, I should say I think maybe it's about time I washed the black shirt and the... But anyway, look at this fantastic scroll. It says here, with great gratitude to Scott Mitchell for all he has done for the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, please find enclosed your P45. Oh no, sorry, Gary, this is your. Well, this is one heck of an honour, and I think probably after nearly 21 years in this building, it's about time I probably started to learn the black notes of the piano as well. I've successfully managed to avoid them for 21 years, but I think my time is up now, so I've been rumbled. Just a couple of things. Suzanne had said to me, just to say a few words to the graduates, and as you know, I'm in piano accompaniment world. I should say, first of all, before I got the message from Suzanne, I realized that, of course, the letters naturally in my head went, so that means I am now an FRCS. And then I suddenly realized that it's FRC, because FRCS is actually the Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons, which I can't really use. But then I thought about it some more, and I thought, well, actually, we have a very dear fellow, sadly no longer with us, a certain Hester Dixon, very well-known piano accompanist, who was, in fact, the longest-serving member here in the RCS for over 40 years. And she always used to say that to our students, we were, in fact, the fourth emergency service, because, as you know, it can be quite a skillful task. Sometimes, just under certain situations, things can get a little bit tricky on the stage. So she always believed that after fire, ambulance, and police, the accompanists were the fourth emergency service, in which case we would have to do, if you like, a little bit of surgery. So I thought maybe, with the chairman's permission, I can put FRC and in brackets S after, and that kind of sort of covers the whole thing. But seriously, this is a fantastic award, and just a sort of very potted history to you guys over there, and congratulations, by the way, to you all. I started at the RAM in London 35 years ago. I'm looking quite well for 40, but 35 years ago, we had only basically one course fits all. Completely unlike where we are now, where you have, so many choices under, you can tailor your own choice. Whereas we had to basically go through whatever the course was and try and find our own way as best as possible through it. That's all changed now. And when I went to the REM in 1982 as a pianist, we didn't really have the mobile phones, the emails and everything. Everything kind of had to be done the old, slow way. And one of the first people I heard are actually all now involved in teaching in this institution. Aaron Shore, the head of keyboard, Fali Pavri, the associate head of keyboard, Jonathan Plowright, who also teaches piano in this building. We're all from the same academy, and virtually all from the same teacher. And I heard these people for the first time when I came down from Perth. They were obviously a lot older than me, and they still are. So the point I'm trying to make was, I heard them, and of course my jaw kind of went down to my knees, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to try and find a way through this course, because I didn't have any avenues to go. It was a straight kind of performance course. I thought, I have to find something that is a little bit more unique to myself. So I went to the old register in the office, and of course everything had been written in by hand virtually, or typed up. And I counted the number of students, and this is something you might be interested in. In 1982, in September, and we're talking just the Royal Academy of Music in London, 625 students, and 100 of them were first study pianists. And I thought, So when people say things are 6 a penny, it was literally correct. And I thought, right, I'm not going to survive this, not in a million years. So I found avenues within to go down chamber music and accompanying other students that wanted to work with me. And so I kind of built up a little world that was running in a sort of parallel universe to where we were. And I think really, in kind of closing, what I would say to you is whatever you decide to do, your options are obviously limited. But if you find just somewhere in the world that you love to be in my case it was piano and slightly more down the accompaniment side and chamber music rather than solo, is just find your own niche and try and build on that for yourselves and develop that for yourselves. Just have, in a way, be unique, but uniquely yourself, and just have that little avenue that you can sort of call your own in amongst all the masses of what goes on. So that's really my little message for you, and wish you well. Congratulations tonight, and everybody have a great evening. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a performance of Vision Fugitive from Massenet's Hérodiade, performed by Mark Nathan and Mariana Abrahamian in celebration of the work of Scott Mitchell and Katrina Morrison.
Je pourrais me donner à tel rêve, je pourrais la revoir, contempler sa beauté, divine volupté à mes regards promise, espérance trop brève qui bercer mon cœur et troubler ma raison. Oh, ne t'enfuis pas, douce illusion. Dans une même ivresse
I now invite the directors of the schools to present their graduands for their awards.
In the name of the School of Drama, Dance, Production and Film, and with the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduands who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Master of Arts in Classical and Contemporary Text, Acting. Charlie Clee. Rebecca Dunn. Honey Dorothy Stevenson Benavides. Jordan Edgington. Sophia Tia Glindorf. Leo Graham. Matthew Hunt. Courtney Keir. Caitlin McCoy. Madison McLean. Verity Mullen Wilkinson. Danielle Nelson. Rose Oak Millett. Isabel Palmstierna. Megan Tilma. William Underwood. Ryan Wilson. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduates who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Master of Arts in Classical and Contemporary Text, Directing. Shilpa Thapalyal Highlands. David Wood. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduates who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Master of Arts in Musical Theatre, Musical Directing. James Harrison. Shona Murray. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduates who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Master of Arts in Musical Theatre, Performance. Maxine Aquilina. Isabel Barden. Philippa Kassar. Lydia Davidson. Laurie Flanagan. Eleanor Guillory. Andres Horvath. Pete Horvath. Oshan Hughes. Eugene Wang. Emma Ocha. Beatrice Owens. Christopher Rowney. Preston Smith. Andrew Sowry. Abigail Stevenson. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you this graduate who has been found worthy to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Contemporary Performance Practice with honours of the second class, Mary Stork. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduates who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Production Technology and Management, Miranda Stewart. Matthew Turnbull.
In the name of the School of Music and with the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you this graduate who has been found worthy to receive the degree of Master of Music, Natasha Rhiannon Hendrickse Welsh. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduates who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Bachelor of Music in Performance with honours of the first class, Wilson. In traditional music, with honours of the first class, Misha McPherson. And on behalf of the partnership comprising the Conservatoire and the National Piping Centre, and with the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you this graduand who has been found worthy to receive the degree of Bachelor of Music in Traditional Music, Piping, Connor Sinclair.
Principal, in the name of the Directorate of Academic Innovation and with the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you these graduands who have been found worthy to receive the degree of Master of Education in Learning and Teaching in the Performing Arts. Jane Hensey. Stephen McCluskey. Jesse Paul. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I present to you this graduand who has been found worthy to receive the Postgraduate Certificate in Learning and Teaching in Arts Education, Karen Macaulay. With the authority of the Academic Board of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, I request that you confer the appropriate degree upon those graduands listed as in absentia in the programme.
I confer those degrees in absentia.
I now invite the Principal to confer the title of Professor.
Having been found worthy of the distinction, I confer upon you, Gary Walker, the title of Professor of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, honoris causa, Spartum Nactus S. Hunc Exorna.
I, Gary Walker, Professor of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, faithfully promise that I shall fulfil the duties and responsibilities entrusted to me here in the service of conducting to the best of my abilities.
I know you shall. Congratulations. Having been found worthy of the distinction, I confer upon you, Katrina Morrison, the title of Honorary Professor of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, honoris causa, Spartum Nactus S. Hunc Exorna.
I, Katrina Morrison, Honorary Professor of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, faithfully promise that I shall fulfil the duties and responsibilities entrusted to me here in the service of music to the best of my abilities.
I know you shall, and congratulations. I now invite Professor Morrison to address our graduates.
This isn't usually what I do, speaking. I am so honoured to be here. Thank you very, very much for this wonderful honorary professorship. I'm really humbled to be here and such a happy occasion, so congratulations to you all for graduating. I graduated from the RCS not so long ago myself in 2013 and have had a very varied career in the past 4 years. Looking back on my student time, something that's very apparent now that perhaps wasn't so back then is just how skilled our teachers are here in finding the right balance and giving us enough space to grow into the artists we are and discover our paths, but guiding us on those paths also. And that isn't easy to do. but ultimately it's the best gift a teacher can give a student, and it's something for which I am very grateful. The journey of any artist is unique to the individual. It can be scary at times. It can be confusing, frustrating, exhilarating, inspiring. And as an artist, you'll probably experience all of these emotions weekly. It's varied. I'm still very much at the start of my own journey and learning how to navigate this career, but I've already overcome the big hurdle of what happens after graduation. Some of you may have job offers already or freelance work lined up, which is a luxury position to be in. Make the most of it. Take every opportunity to further your learning and make contacts. Others may not be so sure of what their next step is or how they will progress in the business. And this was the position that I was in when sitting in those seats 4 years ago. I didn't walk straight into a job and really felt like I was walking through the early stages of my fresh new career with a blindfold on. This career is so unpredictable and really like a roller coaster. But the important thing is to remember that you don't need to have all the answers now. In fact, if you ever find you have all the answers, please call me and share with me what they are. There is no one glove fits all in the arts, and nobody will be able to give you the magic solution to how this business works. It's fine to take some time for yourself to figure out what you want to do, where you want to be based, what sort of things you want to apply for. However, you can't just stand at one end of a long tunnel with your goal at the other end. You've got to be constantly looking out to the sides for opportunities that perhaps aren't so obvious or connected with that end goal of yours. These opportunities might actually lead you in a different way to your goal, or take you somewhere else that you'd never even thought of. That was always my idea when I was a student here, and thinking out of the box took me to places like Berlin for 6 months as an Erasmus student, or to Canada on a summer opera program. And the contacts that I have in the business made then, I would never have them if I'd not done that sort of thing. So after graduating, I once again adopted this attitude in the bravest or perhaps most insane way, and made the big leap to start my career in Germany and look for work over there. I haven't looked back since, and that's not to say it wasn't difficult or challenging. It certainly was. But I've put myself out there and challenged myself even through the difficult times, following my instincts, and I urge you to do the same. When I was figuring out what I wanted to say today, the qualities of what it takes to be an artist were at the forefront of my mind. We need a balance of talent, drive, ambition, intelligence, bravery, a good balance of self-confidence and self-criticism, good time management, preparation. I mean, the list goes on, it's endless. However, two of the most important things, in my opinion, are perhaps not so obvious, or perhaps even too obvious, and they are honesty and truthfulness. I believe that these qualities, I believe that these qualities, I told you this is not my thing. Should just sing it, should I? No. These qualities will set you apart from your colleagues that don't tap into these qualities. And if performers have these two things, they will connect instantly to an audience. Our job is to connect with an audience and to allow them into another world and to access emotions they don't usually touch on a day-to-day basis. That's why the arts are so powerful. An audience wants to be able to relate in some way to what they're watching and to what you're doing on stage. And something I learned here in acting classes was that I needed to live every moment of my character's journey and react to the situations that a character was in. Not act, react. That was an epiphany for me. How do you do that? Well, the best way I can see is through honesty and truthfulness. If you don't access them, there will already be an invisible barrier between you and an audience. and delving deep within you will break down that barrier and let an audience in. It can be incredibly exposing, and it can take a lot of bravery to do so, but that's where the fragility and the beauty of the arts lies, I believe. And if this daunting feeling is overcome, it can be very rewarding and liberating. My own recent personal experience with this was at the Cardiff Singer of the World competition. I'd watched this competition on TV since I was young and knew everything about it, I think. I quickly realised, though, that I couldn't allow myself to be swept up in being in awe of everything there. I'd made it past every audition, and like everything else in my journey so far, I knew I had to be true to myself. This was the biggest thing I'd ever done in my musical life, and getting past that obstacle really took a lot of mental work. When it finally got to the competition week, I was very well prepared. I'd put in the groundwork, worked my technique into my repertoire, and knew that when I got onto the stage, I was ready to become that character and connect with the music, text, and audience with honest intentions. I was a nervous wreck before each round, but weirdly, the moment I stepped onto the stage, the nerves dissipated, and by inhabiting each character or song, I was actually able to ground myself and really enjoy every moment. So, with honesty and truth being that core element, there were no barriers between the audience and me, and I could almost feel them travelling with me on the stories I was guiding them through. I was proud of myself that I'd managed to achieve that, and winning this was really just the icing on the cake. So I hope that by sharing a little bit of my journey and my musings about this career will maybe give you a little bit of confidence to walk into the unknown. Be true to yourself, be true to an audience, and follow your dream. But don't forget to look out to the sides whilst you're doing so. Good luck with everything.
Honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being part of a special day at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, celebrating achievements, marking endings, and new beginnings. May I start by offering my warmest congratulations to you, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland's class of 2017. We're incredibly proud of each and every one of you. Bravo. We're also delighted today to celebrate Scott Mitchell, our newest fellow, our newest professor, Gary Walker, and our newest honorary professor, Katrina Morrison. Scott, as Katrina can no doubt attest, collaborative pianists are too often the unsung heroes of recital performances. They're the perfect stage companions, giving and taking the spotlight in just the right proportion to be an equal partner in sharing the music. We thank you for your work performing yourself with so many, but also for your teaching of this fine art to our students. Gary Walker, Scotland is so proud of you as one of our finest conductors, and you've developed the training within our Leverhulme conducting program, so it is now one of the most highly sought after programs in the world and has a proven track record of success. And congratulations to you as well. Professor Morrison, may I be the first to congratulate you and to thank you for your timely and thoughtful words. I'll say a little bit more about you in just a moment. But first, back to the class of 2017. In your time here, you've worked hard, you've had fun in good measure. I saw that in Edinburgh with some of you. And you've shown yourselves to be great citizens of the Conservatoire and of Glasgow, and in the Edinburgh Festival as well. As you go from here to be citizens of the world, it is with our love and encouragement to be the best that you can be. So in thanking you and celebrating your achievements, there's a group of special people that you and I also need to thank. for the part they've played in supporting you, and that your family and friends who are here today and those who are not able to be with us today. Graduates, just as they're celebrating your achievements, can I ask you to be upstanding and applaud your audience as a way of saying thank you for being here and for everything they've done for you. Thank you again to our family and friends. Last week, I was in China at the invitation of academic colleagues, visiting some of the finest conservatoires and music schools in this vast, ambitious, and rapidly changing nation, and exploring how we might work together. And reflecting on that experience, I've also been thinking on what I might say to all of you as you prepare to leave us and make your way in the world. There are many similarities. On the one hand, here were the top cultural institutions of the global superpower of China, with a population of nearly 1.4 billion, who were excited to work with and learn from the one national conservatoire of the relatively minnow nation of Scotland, with a population of around 5 million. One small suburb could take the entire population of Scotland within Beijing's 6 ring roads. And yet here is each of you, our new graduates, going out into the world as individuals, wanting to share your expertise and passion and make an impression on this vast and complicated world. We are both the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland as a distinctive and world-leading institution, and you as our graduates, wanted and needed in the world out there. Remember that impact is not only about scale, so be confident in who you are and the exceptional qualities and skills that you bring because of who you are, the values that you have and brought to us, and the values that you've learned while studying here. In saying this, I now want to shine a spotlight back on you, Katrina, as the embodiment of much of this. If, as the Chinese proverb goes, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, your baby steps in the arts were here with us at our own junior conservatoire. From those early days of exploration, you set off on a path through undergraduate and postgraduate studies here with great dedication and a pursuit of your own creative passion. All of that, and a great deal of hard work on your part, has made you the truly excellent artist and the singer of the world that you are today. We're incredibly proud of you and what you've achieved to date, and what I have no doubt you will achieve in the future for yourself and for Scotland and her National Conservatoire. And to the new graduates sitting here today, I say the same thing. Be proud to be of the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland and what that means in terms of the hours of practice and study you've put in, the wonderful performances across our disciplines, and know that you've been part of our institution's place as one of the world top 3 for arts and education, and you and your teachers have played such an important and integral part in that. Importantly, be confident in what you've learned and the values you take from here. Remember that in spite of what is going on in the world around us, it is the DNA of this community to be open and to be welcoming to people of all countries, embracing our European, our overseas students as enthusiastically as our Scottish and UK students. And it bears saying again and again that the arts are a gathering place, a bridge between peoples, and a community that all encourages hope and empowerment. If there's a positive I'd like you to take away from today and from this place, it's this, that you are all needed out there more than ever before. You're needed because you have a voice that is important. You love the arts, and you live by the artistic values of collaboration, of interdependence, and of empathy. You are global citizens who have thrived here by feeding off the positive energy of creating together what we can be proud of and share, as opposed to the toxic calories of what divides us, belittles us, or diminishes us. You have a voice, and through your art, you give others a voice, and I challenge you to use it. With these words, I send you from here with that mission across art forms, across communities, and across nations, wherever your life leads you next. Keep holding a mirror to the world. Use your voice to help us all find a way to a better and kinder future. We send you from here with our love and confidence. And remember, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland will always be a place to call home. Thank you. This congregation is now ended. Please be upstanding for our graduates.